Incredibly impressive. Just the amount of damage that he's able to put out. Like, typically you'd see if he's playing Psylocke and Slowpose over on the Punisher, that the Punisher would be doing maybe twice as much damage. Because a lot of it is just damage to tanks. I'm just going to get healed up. 2Z's damage has to be very, like, dedicated. Make sure that it leads into an elimination. Yet 2Z was still doing a lot of damage alongside the Punisher.
Forms of Psylocke threat. It's going to be the Atom with the Cloak and Dagger with the Mantis. This is the full Peel composition coming on through, as both of these strangers are going to use the portals, not to position immediately, but to get a read of the composition that we're up against, to have a better understanding of where they need to take the fight. Are we going to see an immediate jump onto that Cloak and Dagger? Out comes the Terror Cape, but it gets blocked by the Strange Shield. However, KQ for free dives right into All Business's entire team and pays the price for it.
Slowpose sedated, just able to sort of back up. It was All Business that got onto the objective first, as OGC holding onto the portal to just buy dead time, as the objective wasn't going to be open for a good 10 seconds. But now it's just chipping away at these ultimates. 222 moving over towards the Venom, just sort of fighting up, pushing this backline now as 2Z's found that opening in the backline. No GC crumbling under the weight of All Business now that they found those picks. It's going to be them taking the point first.
Yeah, OGC does what Dagger Dome's going to be able to keep everyone healed up, but it's the dance of the butterflies that you have to worry about. No picks off of the back of it, though. Good sleep into Solar Resurgence from 6 forces All Business into having to overcommit. They could have won that fight potentially with 2 ultimates, but instead they have to burn the entire ultimate bank, and they've got 1 left.
Resurrections bringing back some of the players, but it might just end up slowing down this reset for OGC. Like you pointed out, big ultimates all used at the same time for All Business, from the Vanguards, the Duelists, and the Strategists all together. So OGC having a lot.
Already off of the Punisher turret. Greedy sends in the Eternal Bond. It's going to be mirrored back with Closest in this boundary. Hachiko comes through and catches onto 4 of them, and it doesn't matter that All Business didn't have the ultimates because they're just falling apart.
It was the invisible boundary set up from Closer to hold All Business to accounts, but OGC
to stack those players into that Psylocke ultimate to stop it having value, and unfortunately that's done just the ticket. All Business lose so many of their players, and OGC win another fight in a row.
That's 2-2
of the ultimate. Still, though, All Business not opening things up just yet. It's going to be a Psylocke versus Psylocke for 1. Psylocke's got the EMEA team up, and KQ is able to come out on top. Out comes the final judgment, emboldened by the Eternal Bond, but OGC are more than happy to trade 2 ultimates for the price of 1. Karmic Revival behind the point, and they've been able to bring all of those players back.
Now it's overtime. It's not even going to be progressing forward for OGC. They have to take it back, which is looking likely at this rate. You got KQ with a dance of the butterflies, not wanting to use it in this engagement. Really nothing's been made towards it, but All Business almost taking this first point and making it theirs. KQ tries the ultimate to seem to make the most difference. He's not going to have it for this next and potential final fight. The portal from 2-2 coming in. Hachiko does have the Eye of Agamotto, hiding it feels like to try and catch them out.
Yeah, they don't know where the strange is. They've got to go for a teleport play to try and just take down Closer before that invis boundary can potentially come on through. Out comes All Business. It's 4. Agamotto, he gets 4 yet again. 2Z's able to find Lapis. Where's the follow-up damage off of the Eye? It's not there in time. All Business come through with an Eye of Agamotto of their own. 6 with the Resurgence is trying to keep everybody up through it. KQ, intangible, but still coming on out with the tangible damages off of the back of that dance of the butterflies. All Business trying to have the later support ultimate coming on through, so that they can have the long-term sustainability, and that's been able to win them the fight. Eternal Bond paired up with 2Z's ultimate, and OGC are going to have to rush Greedy onto the Strange and try and set up a teleport just to be able to touch.
Well, it's going to be able to, though. It's back and forth, this fight, but 2-2 finds the pick straight away over onto the Adam Warlock. Greedy nails a shield, dropped pretty much instantly. Hachiko on the Captain America, put down yet again from this Venom, who has been able to get these eliminations, chop things up nicely, but it's 2Z that's the one that's absolutely shredding through the first seed. And the first point for OG, All Business, had it to begin with, lost it, brought it to 99%.
Psylocke target ban even after that Lena Snow's been taken off. Because 2Z on this Psylocke 20-3. Right now. the numbers that Tuzi is out. Keep that forward position. Out comes the dance of the butterflies from Tuzi. They saw that OGC were a little bit too reluctant to face the punish.
Oh my god.
And all get trapped into the open space against the dance of the butterflies. No final judgment, but that definitely has an air of finality. KQ for free hasn't got the LOS for the Mantis damage boost. Soul Resurgence comes out instead. Eye of Agamotto from 2 catches 3 of them. The Mantis heal just isn't enough. Slowpoke with the final judgment is entirely untouchable, safe inside the invis boundary. And OGC, their presence is entirely invisible on this point right now. They haven't been able to find a single in, and unfortunately for them too, it's going to come at the cost of another late stagger pick. The body block they take.
Play a bunch of these sort of positions before over on the side of Zero Tenacity, and Slowpoke's just for free. It looks for free that he's able to put this damage in. The Eye of Agamotto from Hachiko not catching on to the 4K that he's usually consistently able to grab. It's only the 1. Unfortunately, it's not really amounted to all too much. KQ trying to make sure that the turret from the Punisher from Slowpoke isn't going to really catch that much free terrain. And the fight is finally going away with OGC, but much like the first point, Moxie, it's a 99% for all business.
Yeah,
they're not even able to get it.
Yeah, Tuzi's still up. It's a Psylocke one's going to go straight for a teleport play before OG Seed can build up the ultimates to stop them. Strange teleports right above the air. Slowpoke gets the absolute wonderful angle with this Punisher turret to just catch onto all of these players from OG Seed as they have no choice but to throw themselves onto point or it flips over.
Agamotto dropping in again, the 4K, and the follow-up is exactly there from the Maelstrom, from the final judgment. Psionic Seduction going to be used on the other side, but it's not silencing anything. Those guns are still going burr over on the side from Slowpoke, and all business cleaning up this first map in a nice straightforward 2-0 fashion. OGC not able to get anything on the board on the carousel.
All Business are one of the best that we've been seeing when All Business have been in the driver's seat. 37-4. Insane performance coming on through from him. 52% accuracy on that Psylocke. Yeah, Tuzi has so many different characters. As All Business, it looks like they wanted to remove the Wolverine because they wanted to put Toot on the Groot. So that we have the Groot EMEA lineup coming on through with the Loki and Cloak and Dagger strategist backline. In the meantime, OG Seed are going to have access to the Punisher alongside the Storm, just like their opponents. But they did
potentially to be making a good finish in EMEA.
Teleport play, however, All Business with that Loki have the regeneration domain to instantly react to it. Not if the Loki gets taken down before we can hit shift, though. That is panic button for All Business. In fact, they just have to full withdraw from this fight to make sure that no other picks come on through for this defense, which would allow OG Seed to start running away with ultimate charge as well as point percentage.
A lot of damage being done from KQ, who definitely had the bright moments, was the solo duelist in the last map. Gonna have at least a bit more support from 6, but that objective is moving along.
Then they can move over to taking this fight over onto point. Toot's gonna fall though. Force physics. A cruel cooldown against the group player. Omega Hurricane even being invested out into the invis boundary. They're able to catch the Storm as well as bleed out close as Eternal Bond. The OGC are gonna be down that Punisher, and All Business now coming with the later Omega Hurricane.
These Omega Hurricanes trying to carve their way through the lines of players, but it's almost the trades coming in onto the either side. The final judgment coming through, at least from Tuzi, is going to allow All Business to regain control of the objective, force OGC back as well. The eliminations are still coming in. It's a little bit chaotic. They're just trying to jump into like a deer in the headlights.
To hit the cooldowns to survive the test of Final Judgment will put this defense under. Final Judgment comes now from KQ, Strangling Prison from 2, catches a majority of OGC's players, but there's just no confidence in the face of Final Judgment. They have to fall back. The regeneration domain has bought them the seconds to do so. And Final Judgment's done.
Eye of Agamotto diving on in, catches free. There's been a lot of really nice connections from the main vanguards on both sides. OG Seed winning a clean fight, but doing it in such a nice position. And this second objective going to be taken with a good amount of time on the board.
Stamping out any momentum that OG Seed are looking to pick up. Mega Hurricane from 6 is potentially going to get chunked down by the Final Judgment. Can they find the pick onto that Storm in time? No, they cannot. KQ goes down though. Able to take down the Punisher, then the Storm. The Final Judgment still tearing through the players of OG Seed. And Tuzi's final judgment once again slows the approach of the attack.
Another one of those big cloak and dagger ultimates. The fight is going to be used on the other side, and just as we do see the Eternal Bond used on the attacking seed of OG, it is just immediately taken down in the other end. There's enough pressure to push on through, and just past the middle point of this third objective, the Portal looking to try to catch off and stop All Business from actually contesting this.
Yeah, they might be able to get around it. There are a couple of different ways that you can enter that high ground on the left, but what it has been able to do is funnel them into that position, which is going to feed them right into KQ. Waiting on that Punisher turret, the EMEA has to be the one that goes forward, and unfortunately it's not to be. They walk directly into the Psionic Seduction. Slowpoke tries to cut off the backline with the Omega Hurricane, remove the resources, remove the healing.
Wow.
Maybe OG Seed's frontline gets removed alongside it, but it's not enough.
Time to switch things up.
Chaotic, fluid kind of game. All Business very much on the back foot. It's going to be hard to not only get to the end of the map, but to match them time-wise with about 3 minutes still left on the clock. Fight up against Hachiko over on OGC. We do see the Eternal Bond used on one side. Tuzi's not the one that's going to be using the final judgment. It's KQ. But with all of that support, that healing, and the bodies, the progression has been made for All Business. OGC having to just dump into the muck and the mud to try and contest. And thankfully, they're taking these fights. They're getting the engagements and winning them. It wasn't even off the back of ultimates. There's a lot of ultimates dedicated from All Business that haven't really amounted to all too much up until then. Slowpoke comes in with the 2K, and the Omega Hurricane trying to fight off anybody else from OGC that's holding on to this objective.
They might be able to take the EMEA down before the regroup can come on through. Abu manages to take the Storm out of the mix. Remember, All Business also didn't open up this fight with that teleport, so if they want to recontest quickly in, they will be able to. With the Strange Shield blocks off the EMEA LOS so that the heals get prevented. However, she is able to dive back towards her strategist and still fully get healed to come improve the Psionic Seduction. Both of these EMEAs mirroring the ultimate. Welsh Mania pushing aggressively onto both of the strategists, huddled up safely in Garage as Slowpoke comes on through. Not able to find the Omega Hurricane. Sticks with the Goddess Boost, tries to find the pick. Final judgment into Aya Agamotto, but where's the follow-up? Hachiko was able to at least stun out the Loki, but the damage is not there.
What a long fight for us.
So much pressure on this EMEA from that Punisher turret on the payload. However, the strategists are able to keep them healed up and also convert it into Ultimate Charge. Lapis off at the back of that has Invis Boundary. Final judgment gets held. Aya Agamotto comes on through from 2, catches so many players. 4 from OG Seed, and 4 will fall off of all of that follow-up damage. All Business don't even need to use an aggressive ultimate with them overstepping their bounds.
KQ will lead in the line with damage, but honestly, looking at the numbers, damage numbers seem about over on this defense, and just cutting down some of this mitigation. The damage boost going to be coming in with a final judgment from Tuzi, and it just carves through stuff. Hachiko coming in with the Eye of Agamotto. It's not going to matter all that much. Even Eternal Bond isn't putting a dent into this damage.
All Business, the coordination for receiver, the Punisher turret setup. It is going to get broken. Psionic Seduction comes through from Welsh Mania. Slowpoke trying to play with Omega Hurricane in case they all get run out of that Invis Boundary. They might be able to get the damage through off of the back of that Eye of Agamotto that Toot's able to provide into the fight. And All Business find an all wipe. OGC do not have the players to recontest. This is going to be All Business being able to walk away a full push 3 minutes 21 to 2 minutes 59. Just get so aggressive and push to that first corner that you're forced into using ultimates in that fight. Then you've got the fight in the wider hall, and then you've got the fight on the last contest as well. It's absolutely insane that we're seeing both teams have around 3 minutes in the bank.
It's actually some of the time it's been shaved off. Just seen that before. Just like for OG Seed, just 2 minutes to work with, but still, it's pretty even. Only 20 seconds difference. You had such a good showing on that first point, but when it comes to any other players, the Portal gaining information, seeing that OG Seed taking a leaf out of All Business's book, not wanting to use the Portal play straight away, but they're going to get jumped on by one that's nicely set up by All Business.
Yeah, so All Business are actually setting up not just to see returns in terms of space that they control. And All Business, they're losing some of those health bars. However, Greedy gets to come on through. The place being stacked up. Eternal Bond builds faster than the side of that defense. And now they can establish themselves, anchor themselves on that point with their strength, trying to push 2Z out before Final Judgment can come through.
Ooh, KQ's found a nice couple of eliminations before this full player has come out. There's not going to be enough. 1 minute left on the clock. OG Seed saving the portal. Not really needing it, actually. They were able to just win out the fight in the end. It was looking like it was going All Business's way, but Chico has been taking some really nice fights and making sure, for the most part, that 2Z can't get that
Business dig their heels into the ground, refuse to give any form of space. Might, however, be a decision made for them. AQ comes through with the Final Judgment, and All Business make themselves very scarce indeed.
You weren't kidding with just not wanting to get stuck here. You could tell OG Seed throwing a lot of big ultimates to knowing every inch is going to be important here. Now that they're in overtime, keeping things pushed back, it's going to be pure.
Hachiko's just waiting for someone to extend to that low ground. Out comes Psionic Seduction. Out goes the Eye of Agamotto to remove any form of follow-up. Regeneration Domain gets invested, surviving the Omega Hurricane forecast coming on through from the side of 6, and the triple Lokis will be able to work together and take down the Storm. Slowpo is still making sure that OGC don't gain more ground, though. The Storm has to be pushed out before the payload can move on. As like you said, it definitely feels like they should win the next.
Momentum's the name of the game, not only when it comes to progression, but also just the mantra to keep these players talking, to keep them in this one that mapped down OG Seed. Really breaking the limits and stopping All Business from having to try and match this. It's looking like this is going to be the end of the road for OG Seed's attacking side. But with only 2 and a bit minutes for All Business, that feels like finals. Grand finals of Ignite. If it's these two teams, I would be shocked. But at the very least, they're both promising prospects. All Business just trying to show a little bit more.
Online first, and OGC are already positioning in anticipation of an Eternal Bomb dashing into that back line. Both of the cloaks burn the ultimates. Who has the damage to punch through?
AQ's traded it up to be a 5v5. Omega Hurricane's going to be mirrored up as well. So, yeah, you're getting a real experience over on this point as OGC are just putting as much on their bodies as they can to stop this from progressing. Eye of Agamotto, not looking to connect onto anything, but Toot going to be using it on that side. Chico jumping in, does have the Eye of Agamotto himself, and he's going to just drop himself in. Again, not catching anything as these ultimates traded at either side. Now, however, All Business having the picks in order to find some space, and 2Z with a Final Judgment, the firepower to take control and get things moving with 50 seconds.
It was a huge dark teleportation coming through from closer. Tada not have the time bank to fully regroup. They need to go first. They need to shut KQ down before Final Judgment can come on through. Psionic Seduction opens things up. OG side just waiting. They know that they just have to wait it out before coming back in with Final Judgment off of an Eternal Bond. And All Business is going to be up to their strategists to keep themselves alive.
Oh, All Business, I think, stacked their support ultimates. So that's one thing with overtime hit. It is just one fight that OGC need, and the Boohoo's found 2. Eye of Agamotto stunning stuff out for All Business. They need to make more progression on the point to keep themselves at least a 2-0. KQ has been finding so much value, and All Business now brought down to 3 fighting on the objective. Doing a really good job at stalling, but there's too many seeds in this garden, and they've pulled themselves a nice ripe third map to play on.
We go the distance. We go the distance, making sure that you're having maximum value when those duelist ultimates are going on off. And it's these small little plays, the differences between Greedy and Closer being able to hit their Eternal Bond sides too. So even though you don't have the invis to have Guardian Shields for your Torch, you are still going to have good heals on your Flyers. The one major thing about Cloak and Dagger is that her primary locks on. So you don't have to worry about Flyers strafing around the pack, and we might actually even see All Business commit this duo squad to flank around the back.
Out for the time being.
Well, 6 is going to open up instead of a Rage of Ultron of their own. All Business is going to be answering back with one themselves, and Slowpo has already been able to find the in. Eternal Bond
payload that isn't moving, and the Eye of Agamotto used on the other side now from Hachiko. He gets stunned just as much as the stun came out from him, and now Psionic Seduction used on this attacking side for OGC. They're still getting things moving. All Business have done well to buy a bit of time, but I don't think there's going to be much of a connection when it comes to All Business fighting on this point.
I'll say goodbye. Stranger's about to get kidnapped. Off the map we go. Have a nice fall, Toot.
No, he's not.
He's got the shift. He's got the shift. He's able to utilize the capable levitation.
Like a Looney Tunes moment.
Cliffside. Two will be able to come back through, and at the same time, Watchmania is also able to organize themselves through that portal. OGC, though, have the Punisher KQ set up on that turret. They've got as well 6 on this Ultron, being able to keep an eye on that left side recontest. Rage of Ultron comes out from Sloper, but it's not enough. It's not even copies with the God of Mischief, Eternal Bond coming on through. Imperative Patch gets transferred over to KQ, who was made vulnerable by that Terror Cape. And still, OGC are denied. They have to wait out the duration of this Eternal Bond before they can look for the picks afterwards.
Silent Seduction used, but it's just Welshmania here. Used to really stall, but it's not going to do all that much. Probably good at being able to do this for the second and third point on the last map, and his final judgment is trying to copy that winning recipe that worked so well for them last time.
Yeah, OGC, because All Business really stubbornly tried to fight out A, they lost that positioning on B to try and shut OGC's momentum down. Bond potentially giving All Business an aggressive play into the back. And it's going to be utilized, the CC immunity, keeping the Cloak and Dagger safe through the duration of the Psionic Seduction coming on through from Abuhu. As Lapis will be able to come on through with that Invis boundary, but it's the Eye of Agamotto that you have to worry about. Your All Business eye right into the back line, and that's one that you probably want to turn a blind eye to, with all of the pixels coming off the back of it.
Chico's had some fantastic moments on this Doctor Strange. I mean, both of them, the sort of matchup that's been happening with two has been really two players that enjoy this character that would really like to play him as much as possible. So you still going to be a contest coming in from Welshmania. In fact, he found himself a pick. The counter-attack is good. Just over a minute left for OGC to get things going. There's All Business holding on in a really nice spot.
If he overcommits into this backline, he's just going to play Disruption to make sure that the final judgment doesn't get the pocket that OGC are looking to set it up with. Comes the Soul Resurgence. There's the Rage of Ultron over the top. All Business with the Loki copies and the Regen Domain keep themselves alive through it. Freedom Charge 2. All of the players stacked on top of it going to be receiving that healing from their Captain America as OGC get corralled into a small room against the Psionic Seduction. They've lost all momentum.
20 seconds left now for OGC to keep things trucking on. 2-2, a full charge on the left click is just burning through people, but actually the picks are coming on the other side. It's Abuhu that's found these picks and openings. Welshmania, one of the main reasons why everything has stalled over on this point is forcing OGC to use some of these bigger ultimates. Psionic Seduction and Abuhu following up to get another 2k. That should be enough to get things going into point 3. But all of the time whittled down for All Business.
Is it going to be? Now it's going to be so much harder to find the connection of that CC into the backline. As Tuesday with the Supernova takes out all of the momentum. All Business want to remove all of the space the attacker side have to play around with. Yet again, we see the combination.
To look at, and the Rage of Ultrons on either side. KQ taking Slowpoke out of the sky with the help of the Maelstrom from Hachiko is really allowing OG to take some spade. This Regen Domain, fantastic actually, but it might have pulled All Business into fight in a close proximity to where the Eye of Agamotto was coming from. So Resurgence from Greedy Nails going to keep people topped up as KQ found himself another final judgment. That alongside his teammates' invisible boundary means that this can keep pushing forward. All Business using everything that they have, all of the resources, the ultimates, just top decking them to keep themselves going on this engagement. It's really everything going for them, and now 2-2 finding that elimination to bring the numbers in advantage to All Business. It was looking like OGC now that in overtime they could get things just moving a little bit more onto this third checkpoint, and with Greedy Nils, as I keep talking, they're able to bounce back, and maybe nothing's moving at this point, but everybody is fighting for this final chance for OGC.
Psionic Seduction from a bit here. Tuzi with the Supernova is going to be able to blanket out the payload entirely. We start things off yet again with the Eternal Bond, but it's taken down. Closer, the heal gets blitzed through by the Ultron, damage boosted off of Greedy. And it's going to be the Supernova now for all business. Without the Eternal Bond, they don't have the sustain to keep themselves on that point. They've got to just tap on it one by one. KQ's building up the final judgment. Xenos already burned the regeneration domain. He's got the God of Mischief though. He goes for the copy against the Eternal Bond. Psionic Seduction comes on through from 2, trying to pull everyone from OGC out of their invis boundary. Final judgment. The CC immunity will be able to...
It's free.
The Anna ultimate. The Eye of Agamotto gets free. The follow-up is there. Tuzi's trying to find the trades. They've been able to take KQ and the Punisher down. The respawns are in favor of all business. What's the damage that OGC turns to next? KQ's even coming back in on the Spider-Man, but he's not going to be able to swing in on time.
Oh, OGC.
Coming on through with some insane Loki plays. He's able to come in through with the God of Mischief right at the opening fight on C, where Hachiko comes in with an Eye of Agamotto. Closer almost goes down, but the God of Mischief...
The back line more so than the front line of all business as they're trucking things along. Well, Shmania does go a little bit low. Hachiko, the main tank, the vanguard of OGC, dropping, which should open the doors a little bit more for all business to keep this progression going. And the ultimate's out too. Rage of Ultron being stacked up with the God of Mischief. Isn't going to matter too much. It's almost like the cherry on top of the cake. And now with Tuzi with a final judgment, if he can keep this springboarding, especially if Xenos is just going to get free as the cloak with the right click, cutting on through. OGC now wanted to contest, but how do you on earth do this?
Well, potentially over the final judgment. They've got it, but all business have the actual Eternal Bond, and they've got a final judgment of their own. Tuzi rips, shreds, his health bar barely falls. The amount of pocket on this Punisher is absolutely perfect from the side of all business. They had a win condition, and it's just another 9-5 for them. Point A.
Defensive side of OGC that's going to start off this engagement. And there's the Eye of Agamotto connecting onto Free again from Hachiko. He's been so consistent with them, but the follow-up isn't quite there. In fact, all business have been able to get more eliminations off the back of the Doctor Strange ults in comparison. Xenos just adding up the pressure even more. OGC throwing literally whatever they have ultimate-wise. Now the invisible boundary to just keep people going. But Slowpo's cutting through them. Closar's doing the same. Tuzi's having
look for his opportunity. Dive into the backline, disrupts any follow-up on the pocket that could come out for KQ. So that all business win the Punisher up instead. And indeed, there it goes. KQ gets taken down. All business's Punisher, the better. And unfortunately for OGC, now they're down that major win condition. He's got to swap over to the Torch instead of the Punisher, just to potentially have things like Pyro Prison to try and drain away the momentum. But all business
got to create space for the DPS line. Slowpo not too far away from having that Rage of Ultron, and that combined with some of these other support ultimates, even the offensive ones, has been really nice. Tuzi, just off the back of this Eternal Bond, is able to keep things swinging, and it just feels like the all business kill feed is just lighting up with OGC names. It's all blue. And there's now, what, like less than 20 meters? Incredibly uncomfortable for OGC to try and contest.
3D's over to the rocket, so at least Hachiko will be brought back by the BRB station. That's this with the invis boundary trying to buy time. KQ even over towards that Psylocke, potentially wanting to take Slowpo in the air down. The final judgment is the thing that you have to contest, and it feels like the final nail in the coffin. And unfortunately, OGC'd have nothing to stand up to the power of the Punisher. It's just another day, another workplace for Frank.
There's premise, I think, for this team to go on and do some good stuff. All business, at least with a top 8 finish, continuing on with the form that they had in the championship, showing that they aren't just this one-trick pony that's only going to show up once and never again. They mean business, and even with the meta changing, a team that is only able